they had a hard week and they just want to relax on Friday night. It's the same product. The only thing that makes it different is the intent of the user. So we are not going to say, this is medical and this is not medical. And patients, you can only have this and you can't have that. Because there is no science, no evidence to back that up. And I'm not going to make a kind of arbitrary decision. I'm still doing a lot of research. I know more about pesticides, I think, that any lawyer in the state of Washington has any business knowing. I did not ever intend to know about pesticides, but I had to learn that because, as you all know, pesticide testing is the hot thing right now. How do we create a product that is safe, not just for patients, but for any consumer who wants to use it? And when we're looking at public health, we're looking at everyone's health, not just patients who, bother to get an authorization. So, what we are, imagining these rules to be is that they will have enhanced testing standards, that they will have the requirement in the legislature is that we address CBD and THC ratios, that we address additional quality assurance testing, labeling, safe handling, and employee training. So this is what our rules will be addressing, and in doing so, we all know, I hope, that you can't use the term organic because it's federally protected, they don't recognize marijuana, yeah, okay. But what we're hoping to do is create a system of testing and standards for products that can have the Department of Health stamp approval on them so that any patient or consumer of any kind can go into a retail store and know that these products have enhanced standards. Now, part of the problem is that we have to have these on the shelf on July 1st of 2016. And this isn't a widget that you can just go make tomorrow. This is a product that has to be grown in a certain manner, processed in a certain manner, packaged in a certain manner, and still be on the shelf in July 1st. So it puts us in a little bit of a time crunch. But at the same time, there was a lot to learn, and it wasn't going to help anybody just rush into it. So it's been a lot of research, a lot of working with the Department of Agriculture. If you do get a chance to go to the pesticide class that was mentioned earlier, I believe Eric Johansson from the Department of Ag is going to be there. That man is a god. He has managed to teach my non-scientific brain about pesticides. He is so smart. Go there, listen to him, learn from him. It is worth every minute of your day to do that. So that's what I'm up to. Not much. Just, a little something here and there. And those are kind of our time frames. And other than that, I just wanted to let you ask me stuff. I just go randomly.
This is probably something you haven't really thought about yet on the horizon.
Oh, yes, I have.
But today I was at one of my structural engineer for some build-out we're doing, and I haven't been to their location for probably 6 months, and they had an old dog there at the location, and I went over there today, and I thought they'd gotten a new dog, and they said, no, it's the same dog, you saved the dog's life, and I said, I did? He says, when you left, you told us we should get some CBD oil and put it in his dog food, and we did. So, were you thinking about getting a medical card for animals? I told you hadn't thought of it.
No, I have.
Oh, okay.
I totally have. I'm going to try and be brief because I want to get as many questions in as possible, but it's hard. The legislature has said who can authorize marijuana, and it was that list that I said earlier. Veterinarians were not on that list. In order for it to be authorized for pets or animals, veterinarians would have to be added to the list of authorizers. Last year, there was a particular advocate down in Olympia who was saying he was going to bring that bill. He didn't. So that's a bill that someone's going to have to bring. I will warn you, though, that there are a lot of products for sale on the internet that are for animals that claim to be high CBD. The FDA recently bought a bunch of them, tested them, and found that they had nothing in them. And that's on the FDA's website. You know, so what we have on our website, because we thought about it, is buyer beware when it comes to CBD oils that are sold outside of the regulated market, because there's a lot of snake oil salesmen out there. Okay, who else?
I wanted to thank you and recognize for holding the intent of the patient as a standard by which the medical quality of the product would be determined. That's just wonderful. The traditional standard, of course, cannot be supported given the restrictions of the bodies that support that standard. So until such time that's in place, thank you so much.
Welcome. That's an easy one. Plus.
I was curious about, and scared to bring it up even, is that it doesn't seem like there's any requirements for a producer or a processor like a retailer has on its hands.
Requirements for what?
For-
In the product rules?
Yeah, for the product.
Sure there are, because there's going to be pesticide testing. And
Sure.
that's, for these products that I'm talking about, there will be
higher
pesticide
standards
testing.
in turn?
Well, there's no testing right now. There's standards for you can use these and you can't use these, and it's an honor system. And I'm a lawyer, so I don't believe that actually happens. And so we're going to actually start requiring testing. I think somebody else has the mic.
Just, I thought I read that it'll be required to be on, pesticides will be required to be on the label.
That is an LCB rule, that they are changing their rule to require pesticides that were used or possibly used will be on the label. But again, their rules do not require testing. So it's still an honor system.
Well then, what is going to be the difference between recreational and medical? If they're both being tested, they're both using the same marijuana, since you're not restricting the difference. Is it going to be the price? Is the medical going to be taxed? I'm just a little bit confused.
Well, it's marijuana. It's just marijuana. And the only difference is the intent of the user, and if the person has an authorization and they've been entered into the database, then they don't pay sales tax.
So,
And they can buy more.
no sales tax. That's
No
it.
sales tax.
Thank you.
And they can buy more.
How about cannabis tax?
The 37% excise tax will apply to all products to all people.
Hello. So currently, from infused products, the amount of THC is 10 megs per serving. Are you guys looking at that?
Yes, we are. People are trying to stop me. Well, yes, we are. We understand that some patients have built up higher tolerances and need higher amounts. Now, I've been to dispensaries where I have seen 1,000-milligram brownies. Is that going to happen after July 1st? No. But will there be some products with more than 10 milligrams per serving or application allowed? Pretty sure.
I'm just asking this out of curiosity, because I am not a medical patient, I'm not a medical provider, I'm not gonna have anything to do with anything medical, but I have the question.
Sure.
Do you have a database created for any other drug?
Yes, we do.
Which ones, for example? I'm just curious.
Sure. It's called the Prescription Monitoring Program, and every prescription for a controlled substance that's filled in the state of Washington goes into that database. Every single controlled
Okay,
substance.
what is considered a controlled substance? Just the fill in.
The good stuff. Vicodin, which is hydrocodone, oxycodone, Percocet, OxyContin.
In our world, that's the bad stuff.
Well, I just wanted
by
to know.
Dept's
I mean,
yes.
it doesn't
Yeah.
mean anything to me, other than I was really, really curious.
And people will argue with me about that and say, nuh-uh, there's not. And I'm like, yes it is. I created it. And I'm in it too. And I don't care. I'm not ashamed of that.
I was just curious. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
This is just another curiosity question, and I don't know if you can answer it or not. So when you go and buy pseudoephedrine, and you have to show your driver's license, and if you
off your quota, how do they know? Is that
There's another
that's
database for
another
pseudoephedrine,
database.
yes.
So from my driver's license, they know that I'm taking pseudo.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. Your driver's license alone, that's a database.
Yeah.
It's a database of people with driver's license.
Yeah, hi. You said that cannabis is cannabis, or
I call it marijuana.
marijuana,
No
whatever
insulting.
term you want to use. But you were talking about there being an enhanced seal that met a higher standard for pesticides, and so what's the timeline for establishing those rules for the growers to, by July 1st? I mean, as you said, you already talked about the timeline. How do you project that playing out for you, having the standards to get that enhanced stamp of purity, Department of Health approved, whatever it?
We know that we can't wait until the end and drop these rules. We know we can't. So it means we're not going to be able to go through our normal process, which is, all the stakeholder meetings and then the drafting and then more stakeholder meetings. I don't know exactly. I can't tell you the date, but sooner rather than later. It's the best I got.
You didn't anticipate before the end of the year?
Yes.
Thank you.
Is there going to be a path for products to be having the medical or recreational products having a label that's similar to organic but not using that exact term so that buyers could know that it's completely pesticide free?
Well, because pesticides have to be on the label, if there are with the new LCD rules, if there are no pesticides on the label, that means there was no pesticides in it under the honor system. Eventually, I anticipate that the LCD is going to adopt these pesticide testing rules for all products, but we didn't want to do that all at the same time because we didn't want to have any shortage of product, because a shortage of product on July 1st would be horrible, because then the patients would say, this whole thing has failed and we want our dispensaries back. So we're trying to be very strategic about it, but we do anticipate that will happen. But to answer your question, there already are organizations like Clean Green and things like that are pseudo-organic that will come in and certify your organization as following their standards. We've also talked with the Department of Ag of creating a Washington version of organic, but that's still in the very early discussion, and I don't think it's going to happen, anytime in the next year.
Are the current labs actively participating with you in the conversation in terms of cannabis is headed from their perspective, whether as a grower or as a processor, they're opposite end?
I have been working with the labs. They have association meetings just like everybody else, and I've been to them. And they have different levels of enthusiasm for my rules. When I talk about pesticides and heavy metals and mycotoxins, some of them see it as a great public health leap forward and an opportunity for new business. And some people all they see is $250,000 in new equipment, and they're not, real excited. But it has to be done. We have to ensure the safety of the product, and also just quell the discontent in the media and in certain elements of the patient population to be able to relieve their concerns.
And
We're going to take one last question, and then we're going to have to keep moving on tonight. So let's make this a good one.
It's not my idea. I'd be here all night.
Is there any other agricultural products that are going to have to meet these same type of testing?
Well, all agricultural products have some sort of testing. The difference is that it's all done through the EPA, and the EPA won't touch marijuana because it's federally illegal. So I would say no. I would say probably not, but it goes back to we are in a brave new world, and we are making history, and maybe we have to be a little stricter now, and then later on we can ease up a little bit, but right now we're all under a microscope, and we have to be on our best behavior. This is like when the principal's visiting your class in school, and everybody sits up straight, and nobody's chewing on their pencil. So that's what we have to do for now, and maybe we'll be able to ease that later.
All right. Let's give Kristi a huge round of applause. Thank you very much.